Today is September 25th, 2017, and this is the ServiceMonster Show. Today, Facebook engagement drops 20%. We have a partnership with Ryan Kettering, and in this episode, I will introduce you to our answer to the mobile front mobile technician. This week in social media. This Thursday, September 28th, Sam and his team will be giving a webinar presentation on ServiceMonster 6 introduction. So if you are still on the fence, you're using 5, wanting to learn more about 6, we're going to fire these up again, and please come on by and take a look at ServiceMonster 6 and how you can use that as compared to 5. Finally, Facebook combines Power Editor with Ads Manager, creating nice one little tool. And speaking of Facebook, it's not just your page. Facebook's engagement is down 20% since January 1. Not necessarily a surprise because they were growing like crazy. You can't sustain that kind of engagement and growth, especially in the face of other platforms. And so I implore you guys, people are just starting to recognize and move into Facebook. Some of you guys have been in there for a year and a half now, starting to really understand it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Start learning those other social platforms. Be ahead of the curve. So Instagram, obviously you've heard of me talking about that, but look for other emerging social platforms that you can leverage for your business. This week in ServiceMonster, we've tried a couple times now to freshen up our Fill My Schedule cards, posting some stuff on Smug and getting rejected, and then posting some stuff that was accepted, but come to find out we've got other people who are also using that shared pictures, copy, and imagery. I wasn't a fan of that, so I pulled the plug. We never printed a card, and the general issue there was the images that we had selected were also used by Stanley Steamer in their Facebook marketing campaign. So we didn't want to necessarily have that brand association. So before we printed any cards, we reverted back to our old cards. And so what I did is I reached out to Ryan Kettering. He's somebody who's a designer, came from the cleaning environment. I actually watched his last cleaning on Facebook Live. That was pretty cool. And all the work that he does is incredible. I've been referring him to people over the last year. And so I reached out to him and said, dude, can you just do these? And so we're striking up a partnership. You'll now find him in the ServiceMonster marketplace. So if you need any design needs met, man, he is your guy. Pretty awesome stuff. I can't wait to see the new cards, which should be out either this week or next week, which will just roll right into your Fill My Schedule services. So last week I made a post for some website images that I want to use on our brochure site. It's interesting, right? When people come to our site as prospects, I want to be able to identify on our landing page, hey, we understand carpet cleaning. Hey, we understand window cleaning. And so what better way to do that is with actual imagery from the field of technicians working and you guys using the equipment. And so just for fun, I posted a post on my personal page and said, hey, if you give me an image that I'm using or that I'll use, I'll actually cut you a check for $50. Fairly inexpensive. It's just kind of a thank you more than anything else. And I'm not looking for exclusivity, but it's kind of neat. We got like 85 images. Feel free to send more, right? Forward me more of those. Make sure they're in decent resolution though. Some of the ones that I fell in love with, I wasn't able to use because the resolution wasn't necessarily high enough. And I'm not interested in before and afters. We're not going to be lifting those on our site. So what I am interested in again is technicians, equipment, and kind of like something that would speak and say, hey, that's a carpet cleaning picture. Hey, that's a restoration company doing work. So if you're interested in that, send those to us. You can send them to support@servicemonster.net or sending us them via Messenger or on my personal Facebook Messenger account. ServiceMonster will be in Orlando October 16th attending the UMACC show. We've been there, I think we've been there once or twice before. It's usually a smaller show dedicated to window cleaning, pressure washing, contract cleaners. But again, we're spreading out, we're making more of a presence in other places even though the population might be a little small. So if you're there, feel free to come by and say hi. Last week, we also joined ISSA. I'm excited about that. I don't know what took us so long. It turns out one of the alphabet soup organizations that put me on the board for the IICRCA was purchased and acquired by ISSA. And they're basically cleaning service association, but they're much larger than what we've come to see in the IICRC, and they cover a much broader scope of cleaning and sanitation type products and services. So I'm interested to see what that industry has, but with the decline of our associations within this industry, I would encourage you guys to take a look elsewhere. Maybe there's some other larger associations that fit under this umbrella, and ISSA certainly seems to fit the bill there. ServiceMonster product updates. So ServiceMonster 6 has a new release going in QA right now. It includes a handful of features and bug fixes, including job notifications. Yes, so that's coming out very soon, and I'm very excited. You can send text or email notifications along your whole job pipeline, whether it's the same day within a few hours of the appointment, or whether it's a day before or after, 3 days before or after, whatever you guys want to set up. So very, very excited about that particular feature, so look forward to that soon. We've also have a handful of schedule fixes and drag and drop to the waiting list. A couple things that were kind of obvious you guys seemed a little frustrated about in Smug, so we went ahead and addressed those. Thank you so much for your feedback. Mobile 3. So the bill they keep talking about, extending service items and giving you the sendjim button, is in QA. I know it went back and forth a couple times looking at some minor stuff, but we want to make sure we don't introduce any new friction points to that product. So look for that probably towards the end of the week, us submitting that to the iOS and Android stores. Okay, so real quick, Mobile 3 is too big. It is too clever for itself, and technicians don't use it. You guys get frustrated by it in the field, even though you can do a lot, and there's tons of people who use it and enjoy pieces of it. It's not a very well-received product. And that's because we didn't have the experience and arcane knowledge on the mobile front to build an amazing, effective product. But if you're not going fast enough and you're not making mistakes, you're not innovating. And that is something that we do here very well. And we learn from those things that we do, and everything's incremental improvement, and getting stuff out and getting that feedback and learning from that is a big deal for us. So about 5 months ago, I put a line in the sand and said, at this point, ServiceMonster has to be making moves towards making our company mobile first. Just the way it goes. The new technology and the new platforms that we have available are finally creating an environment where the service providers will be adopting technology. Understand that 14 years ago when we started ServiceMonster, only 20% of the industry was using business software of any kind. And over those 14 years, I expected it to explode. It didn't. It went to about an additional 5%. So now we have 25 to 30% of service businesses using software, business software of any kind. Now, I'm excluding QuickBooks and some of the accounting things from that space, but you get the idea. Do you think it's going to be that way in a generation? No way. And what's going to drive the front? Mobile first. We have got to replace paper. We have got to be as easy to use and more beneficial than what's out there, whether it's a super easy, simple app or it's paper that still 75% of the industry is using. So to that end, knowing that we were significantly falling behind on Mobile 3, I went to work and started building the platforms and frameworks that we will build the next generation of the suite of mobile apps that we will be building. The first one there is Mobile Technician, and we've been working on that now for about 5 months. I'm ecstatic because last weekend I was going through it, and there's only like 2 or 3 more things that need to be complete before we're going to start entering a closed beta. The other thing that ServiceMonster has done in the past, especially with ServiceMonster 6 and Mobile 3, was we were very hot to push that to the forefront, even though there was still lots of work to be done. And I lost control of the message, even though I wanted to create an open and transparent environment full of feedback. It was idealistic. So we're closing those kind of future problems because I lost control of the messaging by controlling the people who actually get to play with the product until we feel that it's ready. Right now, beta consists of 1 person. So I'll be leveraging them locally, probably doing a side along to make sure it is what I'm hoping it is. And then I'm going to reach out to 3 or 4 of the most vocal people in Smug that I know have been good with feedback for us, and establishing a beta group of about 5 people. If you want to be a consideration for the open beta, then send me or ServiceMonster a message and we'll get that in. So let's talk about what ServiceMonster Technician is, or how about what it isn't. It's not a replacement for Mobile 3. If you're an owner operator, there'll be things in Mobile 3 that you cannot do in Technician. We plan on developing 5 apps in total, and we'll kind of talk about those as time goes on, because I don't want to introduce those to you until we have something on deck. But Mobile Technician entered QA last week and will be entering beta next week. And so I feel it's appropriate now to let you guys know about this project that we're working on. It's dedicated to completing the job, knowing where to go and when to go, managing that schedule, collecting the payments, getting signature, taking pictures, doing line items, editing the form, closing out your orders, and being done. And that's it. That's the only thing it's focused for. Our target demographic there, of course, is the technician. And so if we can get them closing orders happily in the field and doing everything right, then the office staff and the people inside the company are going to be so much better off. So I want to let you know, we are moving mobile first. Dedicating resources, time, and technology. And because we were, and I don't want to get too geeky, but API first 3 or 4 years ago, and we actually achieved those goals through those 3 or 4 years, it's incredible now what we're able to do on top of those platforms that helped us build 6 so successfully. So if you want to know that, let me know, and you'll go on the list. I'm going to be very stingy about who gets to play with that at first, but I expect within the next 2 months, we should be releasing this to the general store. Thank you so much for your attention. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, go check out the demo, and give us a call.